Welcome everybody, I'm the BGA player and gonna be looking at Board Game Geek's top 100 list, and I'm gonna be making a tier list going from S to E. And for the top 100 games, this is current as of September 27th, 2021. So let's just start in. Okay, so they didn't really scramble it up too much, I think. So this may just be 1, 2, 3, 4 as it really appears in how they really have it. So I'll just start with Gloomhaven. None of these games are like going to be super bad, but because they're all like in the top 100. So like me putting Gloomhaven as an E is really just because it's not my style of game that I enjoy. But maybe you enjoy Gloomhaven, you love it, and that's a fair thing. But I know a lot of people who don't enjoy it. So it's I'd say a grand majority of people wouldn't put it as their number one, for sure. But a lot of people can see the development that went into it, and it's quite the project. So you got to respect it. But putting that as E right there. Pandemic Legacy Season 1. That was something that I had a lot of fun with. Where would I put it though? These are all going to be really good. Maybe B? Because it was just super great. Um, can't say any spoilers for it. Shouldn't, but um, yeah, just gotta tell you, it was really great. When you get to game 4 or month April um, of the game, then it starts to ramp up, and yeah, you just gotta try it. Just opening up those boxes and seeing what's inside and what's coming to you. I felt like I was watching a movie. I got connected to the characters that we created in it. It was a blast. All right, Through the Ages. That one, well, in reality, playing it in real life, I would rate it lower. However, I'm going to say as an online game, it is probably one of the best online games, I would say. Because it, you kind of like build up a whole like civilization from start to finish, like starting out and as like Bronze Age, like get some like you start with like heroes like Moses who will give you more food, or like one of like Julius Caesar making you a little bit better at warfare. Alexander the Great, a lot better at warfare, but you want to kill off Alexander so that you can get some bonus from it. Like you start out with these people, and then by the end you're playing with Bill Gates and other people from our modern time. Very cool experience. So Through the Ages, I just remember playing that my first time that I did. I stayed up all night playing it. It was just such a blast. Um, and then I realized that I was going to be late for work, and I was going to be tired for work, and I had just a little bit of time to shower and shave and get ready to go on to Air Force Base to go to work. So yeah, that game took like 10 hours. So I've never played it in person since, and from now on I will always play that on my phone, which makes it easier because the phone app is really great. Terraforming Mars. That game is the best game that has ever been created. They just there's just so much that I love about Terraforming Mars. You have like it's the feeling of going to like an all-you-can-eat restaurant when you drafting these cards, and you want to take everything, but you just can't because um, your eyes are bigger than your stomach, and to get all these cards played, um, a lot of new players struggle with that. Like they'll just grab everything because everything looks so great, cool powers and everything. But oh wait, this one you need the oxygen level of Mars to be at a certain level, so otherwise you can't play it. Or this one needs 4 water tiles out there before you can play the marine animals or whatever it is. Um, Terraforming Mars, just that is just such an amazing game, and you feel like real corporations like trying to become the best, and in the process of trying to become the best, you do something great for humanity and you terraform Mars. But it wasn't your goal. Your goal was to become the best corporation at what you're doing and get the renown and prestige points for that. So it's a little bit of a play on how society works in a way. How selfishly these corporations trying to provide the best services, and they end up terraforming a whole planet. I just love it. I could talk forever about terraforming Mars and each of the factions in it and the strategies, but I will stop here because we got a lot more to go through. Twilight Struggle, that's another one that takes a really long time, and I will put that just below Through the Ages and Pandemic Legacy. I don't know, just because Twilight Struggle, you really have to know history pretty well, or really know the game really well to be any good at it in the beginning. And it's only a 2-player game, so you get a lot of games will do this, where a 2-player game will require both players to know quite a lot about the game. So ideally you have 2 new players who are great at reading rules and they learn the game together, and then one of them might become better at the other, but ideally they both kind of learn together and beat each other about evenly, and it becomes pretty good good back and forth. However, with Twilight Struggle, I don't know if you're going to find that often. Maybe a husband and wife or just a couple of gamers. Um, any couples really just playing together have that issue where one of them might just understand history better and understand if you're trying to area control, I don't know, Japan as Russia, but then the American player can just play a card that says, "Hey, Japan just really had some good relations with America in this year, and there was a treaty that makes all the Russian influence disappear from Japan." And if you've spent all that time investing in Japan, and America can make those same mistakes in some of the other countries in Europe, if you spend all that time working on one thing and then you can just destroy it with your card or your knowledge of history that that treaty would come out, that's just you just really, it's your knowledge of the game and memorization of those cards, which is not always bad, like, but it's tough for new players to get into it. And a lot of games will have that, like knowledge of the cards in Terraforming Mars is important. Knowledge of the cards in Through the Ages is very important. Pandemic Legacy, not so much. It's a cooperative game, but these two right here, knowing the tier list of each of the cards individually in it, you could get rid of a card or pass up a card and not realize how useful it would be to you. But that's okay because you're just going off of the knowledge that you have right there, and you still might win. Twilight Struggle, on the other hand, it's a little more punishing, I would say, and there's a point when the punishment's too much. But my one time playing Twilight Struggle experience, it I got walloped. Like I was doing pretty well, and then those things started happening where, oh, all this stuff disappears. Oh, all that, your influence here disappears. And I was Russia, and I did that to him, but he didn't invest very much in those places because he knew that there'd be a overall out takeover for those places. I would have much rather it be like gain 5 influence and then you have to duke it out, like fight over it, rather than erase all influence of that person. But my understanding of that game is pretty light, I would say. So pretty small. So I'm sure that somebody could explain to me why it had to be designed that way, and I'm wrong, but that's okay. I'd still rate it as a C right there for a pretty good area control game there. Star Wars Rebellion, that is the only other game that I have stayed up all night playing, along with Through the Ages, and then woken up in the and then in the morning had to just go to work on base. Both these games played in Florida with kind of the same board game groups. Just this one was only a 2-player. This one being we played 4 players. So that may have been why it took so long. But Rebellion, it's just such a great experience. You really feel like it's Star Wars in a box, as a lot of people say, and um, yeah, knowing the mechanics of the game is important. Not maybe not as important as Twilight Struggle, but knowing each of the different cards that will come up and stuff that can bite you as well. That's kind of a common theme we're talking about, but um, you can really rewrite the story of Star Wars in it and have the bad guys win or have the good guys win in a different way, like take over the land where the planet where Palpatine lives. Just a pretty great game there. And if you are the good guys in it, um, like you do not want to go head to head with the bad guys. You want to be retreating constantly, and I really like that in that game because I don't think a lot of games have that feeling where, hey, we need to be retreating 9 times out of 10, but um, but we still have a shot at winning this, a pretty good shot actually, as the good guys. We just need to know when to hold back, and if we try to go all out with the Empire, we'll lose. That's really how it feels when I'm watching the movies, and that's how you feel when you're playing the game. I'd say it's pretty lucky though. The bad guys could just find your planet and it's all over, but that's all right. Good game. Gaia Project. I have never played this one, so maybe there should be a tier for like never played. I'll just put it at the bottom if I haven't played it. Just yeah, I would imagine it's pretty good. But it's similar to Terra Mystica. I'll just cheat here and pull Terra Mystica next. I didn't super like Terra Mystica because in fact, I'll even put it down in E tier because it just it had a lot of different mechanics in it that I felt like I was working a little machine that didn't have any theme to it. It just pull this lever to do this thing, and then pops out this pink token that you get, or this purple thing moves around in a circle. Like, and I was just like, huh. And the terraforming thing, terraforming the lands with Terra Mystica was not actually that exciting in it. Like changing the colors of where you're at so that you can land in that area. I really didn't think that was exciting at all. Twilight Imperium, have not played it yet. Scythe, really great game. I'd say I'll put that in the B tier, like along with Star Wars Rebellion. Had a lot of great fun with that. And if you know the rules to it, like the second time, I feel like if you play it the first time, then you play it second time just shortly after that, if everybody still remembers the rules, it'll go a lot faster. Like it just, um, I like how Jamie Stegmaier makes these games pretty simple. Okay, Great Western Trail, another Stronghold game with Terraforming Mars, but I'm not going to put it next to Terraforming Mars. I'll probably put it along with Scythe level. Um, Maybe a little lower than Scythe. I don't know. Um, I just am not a fan of deck builders, and there was some deck building elements in that, but I liked the traveling on along the trail and placing out your spots on the trail to make things better for you and maybe not as great for your opponents. I really liked that, and going along the trail, and once you get to the top, you have your hand of cows that you're ready to sell. and that was just, or present or whatever it was. That was pretty cool to do, and yeah, I'd say I enjoyed Great Western Trail quite a bit. War of the Ring, have not played. Brass, hated it. Um, um, Castle Burgundy, haven't played it, but I heard it's good. Um, Spirit Island, haven't played it, heard it's good. Heard it's okay. Seventh Continent, bought it, and then somebody said that it was like a super complex one player version, felt like one player version of Time Stories, and I was like, oh, nope, not for me. Maybe it's not complex. Maybe it's super simple. I've heard people say this is a very simple game, but I loved Time Stories, but I wouldn't want to do a one player version of that. And maybe I'm missing out on a lot of things, but I sold it for more than I bought it for at the Kickstarter, which often happens. No, Seven Wonders Duel. That is just one of the greatest games ever made. The best two-player game in the world. I like the fact that you can duel off on and fight with the different military science or just regular points ways of winning. And if somebody's going really heavy in points early, then you can try to beat them out with the points, but more likely you're going to have a shot at beating them with your military and science. That's at least how I see it, and that's how I win quite frequently on Board Game Arena, as you can see from the other videos I have posted. All right, Concordia. I really liked that game. That game is just so great. Feeling like you're playing out a card, and then when I think of Concordia, I think of building that engine of cards that you have in your hand. Not a deck builder, but like a hand management, I guess, game where you, when you play the card, you get to do the thing the card does, and then you take an action to bring all the cards back to your hand. Uh, that's just so great. I like when Spice Road did that, but I think Concordia does it 1,000 times better. Um, Viticulture. Um, I might like that more than Scythe. What about the same as Scythe? Let's say, yeah. Just making your wines. Pretty great game. Arkham Horror, the card game. I played it. I own it. Ready to sell it. Puerto Rico. That put it in the C tier. Like it's all right. I kind of want to play it again just because it's been so long. But um, each time that I've played it, I've been like kind of meh about it. I now, after playing Rising Sun, I get that mechanic a lot better of taking a role and then everybody else around the table has to do that role, but you taking that role gives you a bonus. I played Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition, and that kind of made, I played that recently over holiday break, and it made me think like, okay, maybe I could like that mechanic in a more than just playing with two players, my brother and I with Ares, Terraforming Mars. I could enjoy Puerto Rico with a larger group of people. Not that Puerto Rico can't be played two players. I played it a couple times two players at Board Game Arena, and it was okay. But Brass, I didn't play this version of Brass, but I don't think I enjoyed that one either. Or I didn't enjoy Brass, so I probably wouldn't enjoy the other one. Right, Caverna. Um, I thought I'd really like that, but I played Agricola, then I played Caverna, thinking that Caverna would be the more thematic version, but because everything was all set in front of you, I just didn't like that. I would rather a game where you have more limited options rather than. I wonder if Abyss is in here. That would be a good one to compare with. But Abyss, sadly, is not. But Abyss has one issue in it where there is a location that you can grab that allows you to look through the deck of locations and swap it with the one that's best for you. So it's the best location in the game. It's called the Black Smokers, and it yeah, letting you look through the deck and say, everybody, wait a second while I choose the best one for me, and then you just kind of take a long time, like figuring out the maximum points you can get, calculating with each different one. Like that's just a lot of time. Wouldn't it be better to get rid of that location and just you have, you know, 3 or 4 or even 5 locations that you can pick from, and it also increases the randomness of it too. So maybe you're dealt a really great uh, hand of locations that you can pick from, or something like that. Now, contrast that with Converna, or compare that with Converna rather. It's you have everything laid out in front of you, and you can choose what you want from there. But there's not really new things popping out. It's like if all the options are there, you're going to have a strong metagame of here's what you need to do every time. Uh, like chess, like all the options are laid out right in front of you. I'll just jump to Agricola right now. Agricola is better because with Agricola you can you have those secret cards that you I think draft or whatever, and you kind of can craft a strategy around that using the same mechanics of the game. Uh, yeah, it's just the perfect example to display that feeling that I feel between Agricola versus Caverna, whereas Caverna, I feel like you're going to have a stronger metagame of what you do every time because the decision space doesn't change. Um, just kind of a good example there that I'll always bring up with any decision space argument I need to make is Agricola wins in that category for sure. Um, and Orleans, I just skipped Mage Knight again, but Orleans is a pretty great game, but its problem also is the large decision space because you have those when you pick a new when you're able to build a new worker location, you can choose any of the locations that are in the game. For your first one, you're limited to half. You're limited to only the first basic ones, but there's still quite a lot of choices. So every single time you build something, you got to know what the decision space is to upgrade your person, rather than just having like 3 or 4 out there. Somebody can look through all of them and be like, this is my favorite, this is my favorite, and I can always pick it unless somebody else goes for it, unless somebody figures out that that's the best decision. And you'll have people rank them all on best to worst and create a quick metagame for it. And Orleans, I don't like that it has that in it, but that's just one of the aspects of the game. Uh, it's not the whole game. There's other parts that randomly get popped out. I really like in Orleans the random seeding of the map in the beginning is just incredible because it gets you creating a route that you want to build. And another cool thing is there's alternate strategies. You can just ignore those routes and not pick up any of the cool like cheeses or feathers or whatever the other different things you can grab for points. You can pick another way, alternate way to win. And I like those offshoot strategies if they are not overpowered and if they are uh, not completely uh, like terrible. Like I like old middle ground. Like you might be able to win with it, but it's might not always be the best choice. All right, Mage Knight. I heard it's got a lot of long rules, but never played it, so I'll put that in the E. Feast for Odin. Really love that game. I think it has what Agricola does, but it has even more decisions in it, uh, which is so great. And you have your feed the people, and you have your polyominoes going on, um, gaining more workers. Just a solid game right there. Feast for Odin, putting in A tier. Mansions of Madness. Never played it, but I heard it's good. Food Chain Magnet. That game, I'm gonna put it in the D tier. It's not for me, but like we stopped our play of it mainly because of that thing where you can kind of grab anything you want to in the beginning, and the decision space is so open and not randomized that The only randomness is really what other players are doing at the table, and you just have to. You just if that happens, there's going to become a meta game where, oh, of course you do this first, and if your opponent does this, then you go for this, and there's just if then statements of how to beat the game, rather than a um, totally new puzzle each time you play, and then both players come to the table needing to decide it, how they're going to maneuver this more limited decision space. Food Chain Magnet had everything open all over. And one more thing I'll say about Food Chain Magnet is it had a kind of unique uh, way to gain bonuses for the rest of the game is if you're the first to do something. And if somebody else is the first to do it in the same round that you are, you both get it. But if they are one round later, they do not get it. One example is the refrigerator. So you can only get a refrigerator if you do something. I forget, but you're the first to build this. Oh yeah, you're the first to have food go to waste. So people rush to waste food, and if you're the first person to do that and have food go to waste, then you get a refrigerator, and everybody else will if they did it on that round that you did. But the people who did it afterwards, they waste that food for nothing. If they don't have a customer ready for it, it's going to get wasted, and they didn't have the refrigerator. So you're going to have to come up with a strategy which turns into a metagame for, do you rush to waste your food in the beginning to grab a refrigerator so that you won't have to waste food? And if you go for that, there are other things that somebody else could be the first to do. So if they didn't have that aspect, I would hate it, because then it'd just be like, all right, this is rote. Like the game is rote. You just have to go grab waste food to get a refrigerator. Whereas in Food Chain Magnet in reality, I'm still rating it a D tier, but it's not that bad because you have other things you have to do first, and you just can't do everything first. So somebody is going to um, have one power and somebody else is going to have another power. And a lot of games, you'll just start with a random power in the game, and then that's your power. But this game lets you kind of make your power. Are you going to have a refrigerator? What have you. All right, so that's Food Chain Magnet. Blood Rage. So with Blood Rage, I'm going to put that in C tier. I really liked Blood Rage. Played in a tournament at Blood Rage at Origins and got my butt whooped. Never won. And then this is Origins 2016. Then Origins 2017, I came and I wasn't as famous of a game a year later, but still pretty known, which is great for board games to be highly played at a game fair a year later. Just weren't that many advertisements for it, obviously. But, anyways, while I'm playing Blood Rage Origins 2017, I figured out this Loki strategy where you just kill off your own people and get the power ups throughout the game as it's being drafted around the cards for these power ups. You just figure out, hey, I get 1 point for killing my people. All right, age 2, get one that gives 2 points for killing my people. All right, now each person killed gives me 3 points. It's more valuable to me now to just kill my people in every battle. So when I figured out that strategy, I was kind of sad because I just won a bunch of new players at the game pretty quickly. I can understand how somebody could be like, okay, just easy, just like Seven Wonders. Don't let the person go all science. Just like Seven Wonders Duel, don't let them go all science symbols or go out all out in military. Um, like there's things that you just know to do, but so don't let somebody take all the Loki cards in Blood Rage is really the answer to that. I'd like to play it again and give it another chance, but that was my last taste of it was 2017. It's been 5 years, wow. But I remember I did not enjoy the fact that that had to happen. Pandemic Legacy Season 2, I would say slightly better than Season 1. I guess the ending for season 2, and I was very joyful at the ending. I thought that was, well, I won't spoil it, but it was just really well done, and it felt like reverse pandemic when I was playing it, because you were creating supplies out on the board for people, trying to rescue what had happened from the end of season 1. You're trying to help people and figure out where humanity is and the rest of it. And if it was like reverse pandemic, spreading these supply cubes around. Uh, really enjoyed that one. All right. Then we have Mechs vs. Minions. I played that. Do I put it in D or do I put it in C? Probably C. I don't think I loved it, but it's an alright cooperative game. Kingdom Death Monster. Don't know much about that. Power Grid. I thought that was really good. Really thinky game. I'll put that in B tier. Imperial Assault. I don't know if I ever played this, so I'm gonna put that in E tier. I never played it. Through the Ages, the base version. Put that in E tier. I never played it. Tzolk'in, the Mayan calendar. I just didn't really like my play of it, but I'll put it in D tier because it wasn't as bad as some of these ones that I have played in E tier. Hey, if I put it in this corner of E tier, I guess they let you put it in different sides. Then I have played it, but if it's after Brass, then I have not played it. Because Brass is going to be the last one on this list. Azul. I thought that was a C tier, I think. Pretty good. Let's go Eclipse. C or B. I'll just put it at C. This is kind of long, but my experience was great for it. Le Havre, have not played that. E tier. Not played tier. Wingspan. I'm gonna put that as a B tier. Pretty great engine building game. Light enough. Robinson Crusoe, never played it. Marco Polo, that is in my top 10 still, hanging in there. Pretty great dice worker placement game. Clans of Caledonia. No, I have played this one on BGA, I think. Maybe I played an app of it, but I thought it was alright. But my problem is I don't remember it very well. Yeah, I'll just put it in C tier just to, because it wasn't something I remembered pretty super well, but I may have not known all the rules while I was playing it, so it's really not even fair for me to rate it. But I don't want to put it down there because I liked it. I also don't want to put it on up here because I didn't love it. It's kind of a little stock market aspect in the game, plus maneuvering yourself around locations on a map. Netrunner, never played. Root, played it, thought it's pretty complex, but pretty good. Let's put it in B tier. Seven Wonders base game, let's put that in A tier. I would have used to have put that in C tier, but I've grown to really like Seven Wonders, and I even had an engineer friend. I was explaining the rules for Seven Wonders to him. While I was in Germany, I was TDY, temporary duty with the military, and I was playing Seven Wonders on my phone, just talking to this engineer about it, and engineer for the Air Force, and he was just like, he's a fellow lieutenant, and he said, Seven Wonders, like that sound, the way you're explaining the game, that sounds actually like something I could design, just with the cards. Or he said I could design an Excel sheet that could optimize your choices every time. And I was like, oh wait, really? And he's like, yeah. And it was, he found a way to optimize what you should do each turn with an Excel sheet. And I was like, okay, let's try this out, and I would win every single time after his optimizer. So, that's kind of what I like in a game. Is you have that small decision space of cards that were drafted to you, but you still find a way to win in that puzzle, and the small decision space is random each time. So it gives me the idea that it's a lot larger, different uh, possibilities that you have to plan for, rather than just one possibility every single time, aka Caverna, aka Food Chain Magnet. I liked the drafting of the cards, but um, most drafting games I like, don't love. Seven Wonders Duel isn't a pass cards back and forth game. It's draft them on the table. Hand drafting cards, I don't love that mechanic, but there's always something cool to happen with those. It's a Wonderful World. I don't know if that'll be on here, but that was one for sure that I enjoyed a lot. Passing cards back and forth. Seven Wonders does not reach the level that Seven Wonders Duel had for me, because Seven Wonders Duel is just so amazing with those science auto win, military auto win things. Seven Wonders didn't have that. You just play till the end, and then that's your points. Anachrony. No, it's gonna go up at the top. This is a S tier game. Very great. The problem is it's in a giant big box downstairs that I don't know how to play anymore. But when I did play it, and when I was living in Florida, that was so great. Going back in time, almost felt like giving debt to yourself. Like you've seen somebody come from the future and give you a bunch of crystals. You now have 3 crystals and a worker to come with it. Okay, so that just means that use that stuff so that invest it really in your engine of the game, so that in the future you can get rid of a worker and 3 crystals in the future and spend time, power to go back in time to do it. So with interest, I guess. But you just know that you're going to have to pay yourself back in the future. You take a loan from your future self. Really fun experience, Anachrony. Keyflower. That's going to go in S tier. Just the fact that you have these workers that you use to build up your town, and then you can grab resources from other people's towns, but then they keep your worker. Fascinating. And the workers are different colors, and it matters. Just incredible that you build your town to be attractive to other people's workers, but they have things that you don't have. Always, it's going to be beneficial to go over to one of their towns. And also, each time one of those places is used up, they use more workers, so it becomes more and more important for you to go to a different worker placement spot, maybe in somebody else's town, maybe not your own town, so that you can get the better things. You have to, if somebody uses 1 worker at yours, then you have to use 2 workers in your spot, or 3 workers in your spot to get wood, for example, in your town. But if somebody else has something that will give 1 wood, and you have something that gives 2 wood, but you're gonna have to spend 3 workers for it, maybe just send your 1 worker over to grab 1 wood, and later on go to somebody else's thing and spend 1 worker to get 1 wood. And now they each have one of your workers. You got your 2 wood that you needed, but you didn't have to spend 3 workers to do it. Of course, you'll get your workers back. I don't know. It's just a great puzzle of a game, Keyflower. Race for the Galaxy. I thought it was all right. Kind of had that thing that Puerto Rico had, where you're choosing a role that you want to do. I think a lot of these top 100 have that. People like that thing. And Rising Sun had it. I'll get to Rising Sun later. Dominant Species. Oh my gosh, this game takes forever to play, but it is so good when you understand what's going on in it. But it's so long. Okay, I'll put it at B, I guess. Maybe C. There's some cards in that game that can just destroy somebody early, and I want the games that I like to be good for a new player. So dominant species C tier. What game is this? Well, obviously I haven't played it, so E tier. Is it Kalis? That's an old cover or a new cover, Kalis. I don't care. Okay, Fields of Arl. Played it, didn't love it. It's maybe there with Caverna. I liked making the animals, but I think I liked it even less than Caverna. I'll just put it at D tier. It's only made for 2 players. Lords of Waterdeep, I'll put that in A tier. That one always goes over really well. The one thing I don't like about Lords of Waterdeep is those cards where you give somebody a mandatory quest, but I found a way around it where I like it. Is if I get a mandatory quest first, I tell people at the table, hey, I'm not winning right now, because I'm always not winning, but I convince them, hey, I'm not winning right now, but if I ever start winning, and somebody thinks that it'd be a good idea to drag me down, I get them in this mindset. The other players at the table, I try to play them like hey, you only play this on the person who's winning, but if somebody plays this on me and I'm starting to win and I become a threat, then I'm going to take you down, because guess what, I have one of those cards as well. So it makes it so later on in the game, if I do start winning and they can see that, hopefully you try to lay low in any game, really, especially Lords of Waterdeep, because as soon as somebody does one of those 50-point quests, then you just shoot up the map, and then they go, well, we need to take that person out, give them a mandatory quest, so they have to finish that before they do any more high point quests. Yeah, you as soon as somebody starts getting good, you take them down with a mandatory quest, and that is a way to balance out the game, to not have a runaway leader. So I recognize it, but it is just so mean if you don't know how to talk to the people at the table and threaten them with that in a way that doesn't make them all hate you, but just kind of like, hey, I'll get you. But if you're playing with 3 other people in a 4-player game, and 3 people lay mandatory quests on you, one after the other, and there's no rule that says you can have a maximum of a certain amount of mandatory quests, you could just be out of the game very quickly, because you have to spend so many resources and so much of your time to fulfill these mandatory quests, that it ends up being that you just can't win after that. So you do have to be careful with those mandatory quests. Otherwise, I would rank it higher. But I don't hate the game for it, and I love that I found a way around it to be social with the players around the table. All right, so 5 tribes. That is a S tier, and it's because I don't think anybody else has made a worker displacement game so well. I know there's like Fistful of Meeples and maybe a couple others, but that worker displacement, like picking up the workers and moving them around, it's just so great. I love that about 5 tribes, and there's one thing that I might have ranked it lower. The base game has an issue where if you always try to, because of the different 5 tribes, one of the tribes allows you to kill other meeples on the board, and it says if you ever, via killing meeples or taking the last meeple off to use its power on a tile, either of those 2 things happen, you can get a tile claimed, and each of the tiles are worth a various amount of points, 4 to 15 points. And so you could kill one set of meeples, or the last meeple on a tile, and take control, and use a red that is the last red meeple on something, and you could get 2 tiles in a turn. And if you can figure out how to do that every turn for the first 4 turns of the game, then you already have 8 of your you take a camel and you put it in on a location, and you're limited to a certain amount of camels. So if you can quickly do that, you're scoring a pretty good amount of points. Maybe not as much as somebody going for a green strategy where they're getting a bunch of items that increase in points exponentially, or somebody doing a all-out blue strategy where they're just getting instant builder points. Maybe not as much points as those two strategies, but or if somebody's doing a long-term genie strategy where they're building up, getting one genie or two genies and using the powers between them to do something really great at the end of the game that builds up. But at the sacrifice of sacrificing things in the beginning to get those genies. You have all these different strategies that there could be, but this red strategy gives a decent enough amount of points. And one of the end game conditions is if you've gotten rid of all your camels, then the game will end right there. And I liked that in the beginning, but then I found out I could win every time with that strategy. And I didn't like that about Five Tribes. And so they made the expansion, which added a sixth tribe. I thought Five Tribes was funny because it was only a 4-player game with 5 meeples colors. And then they made the expansion, and I was thinking, okay, they're going to make a 5th player and make the board even bigger. That'll be great. No, they made the board bigger, but they made 6 meeples. So you got 6 meeples, 4 players still. There's no 5 in the but the 6th tribe is so powerful that if you don't grab some people from that 6th tribe, then you're not going to win. And so, I mean, feel free to fight me on that in the comments, but it's true. You can't win without those purple meeples. And so if you see somebody going for a all-out red strategy in the beginning to try to get rid of their red things, then you can try to tee up some of the purple ones to make them easier to grab. And in their process of trying to go all heavy hard in one strategy, whether it be the red meeples, green meeples, blue meeples, white meeples to get genies, whatever, in the process of doing that, you have to not let somebody snag all the purple meeples, because those will just provide so much instant points, so many special abilities as well, that yeah, you're going to be in trouble if you just ignore the purple meeples. And so, surprisingly, that actually fixes the red meeple issue that I have with Five Tribes. So I would never play it seriously. Like, I'll play it for fun with a new player, and just kick their butt with the red strategy, or just I don't know, pull my punches and not use the red strategy with a new player, because new players probably don't want to play with an expansion. But I'd imagine if you really want to play it seriously with somebody who's good at board games, you just play with the purple, and then it's anybody's game. Like, unless somebody else finds a killer strategy in Five Tribes, um, it's not so apparent the red strategy is so powerful, and it's not so apparent in Blood Rage that the Loki strategy is so powerful. And so you need to lose a game before you realize how powerful it really is. Um, in Five Tribes, you'd think, oh, okay, that's cool. He got 8 points from that. He took out 2 4-point locations. That's good. I'll do a turn that gives me 10 points, or I'll do a turn that gives me 4 points but sets me up for 15 points later. Well, that later may never come because they end the game too fast. And so, both these games, Blood Rage and Five Tribes, you really have to learn how powerful of a strategy that is first by losing to it. And I don't like that as much. But you bring in that expansion, Five Tribes is for sure S tier. And then they have other expansions for it. So I just love the game. All these S tier ones I'm talking way too much about. Sorry. Rising Sun. I'm going to give Rising Sun a B tier or an A tier. I'll give it an A tier. I just like the negotiation in Rising Sun. I don't care if I win. I usually lose, actually. But it's one of those games that I can lose and enjoy myself, because it's just like, well, I wasn't diplomatic enough. It reminds me of board games like Diplomacy. However, also Rising Sun has that cool mechanic that Puerto Rico has, Race for the Galaxy has, where you pick a role. And originally, I did not think that was cool when I played it as Galaxy or Puerto Rico. But or Terraform Mars Ares expansion. But for Rising Sun, it really works and it makes sense. And you have an ally who gets the same special bonus you get for taking that role, and everybody else gets the normal benefit. So you can work with your ally and be like, you pick this thing that lets us construct barracks to build more units, and then on your turn, pick the thing that lets you build a unit from each of your barracks. But if you picked this thing, you get to build an additional unit from your barracks. And then we both go in on that strategy, and we have a bunch of people early on in the game. And then somebody else could do a strategy where everybody else gets a little bit of money, but they get a lot of money, and work with their friends to give them a lot of money. So it's got a lot of cool strategies to go into it with Rising Sun that I have not tapped into yet, but I can imagine they're pretty exciting with the few games I have played of it. All right, Twilight Imperium 4th Edition, not played. El Grande, it was just all right. I played that the same day I played Race for the Galaxy. Maybe I was just having a bad day that day, but nah, it's all right. It's a D tier, not the worst. Eldritch Horror, uh, played either this or Arkham Horror, and this is Arkham Horror, the card game, but I don't think I enjoyed it that well. These Cthulhu games, I feel like they should put more into the game to make it more fun, rather than just relying on the epicness, the theme of Cthulhu for it to be fun for people. Because I just did not enjoy the length and the grandioseness of that with how long it took to play it. Not good. Clank. This is the base game, Clank, right? Yeah, you got a dragon running after them. Let's put that in the B tier. I liked it. It does have deck building in it, which is something that I don't normally like, but it's probably one of the better deck builders because it has things other than deck building. I put it kind of next to Great Western Trail right here. That B tier of deck building, but something else to go with it that makes it better. The Gallerist. Never played it. Code names. Put that as a C tier. Like that. Dominion Intrigue. I played Dominion. I liked it. I'll put it as C tier. Patchwork. Put that as a... Let's do A tier. That's just a pretty well done 2-player game. Mombasa. Really liked my play of that one. So put in A tier. Battlestar Galactica. Put that in A tier. Enjoy the secret roles people have. It did take a long time, so maybe I'll put it in B tier actually. I'd rather play Shadows over Camelot, but I don't think Shadows is in the top 100 anymore. For shame. It's too bad. Alright. Roll for the Galaxy. Just put that in the B tier. It's a pretty good game. Twa. I own it, haven't played it. Sherlock Holmes, Consulting Detective, haven't played it. Russian Railroads, played it once. Liked it, didn't love it, but some of these games are engine builders where you gain resources faster and then or better as the game goes on, but then there's immediate gratification, just immediate 5 points, but you can use these resources to gain even more points later on. I like that in games, but Russian Railroads felt like it just took that resource element out of it, and just like, would you rather points now or points later? And the points that you get now build on it themselves. So you're never scoring less than you scored in another round. At the end of each round, you just check where you're at and you score that much. So you're just like, by virtue of you having 5 points scored this round, you're going to score 5 points the next round. And there's a couple tracks that you can go up on, but they're not like this track will get you more wood that you can use to build something. No, it's like this track goes by 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, and this track goes up by you know, 4 for the first couple ones, and then 10 towards the end each step, something like that. So which track would you rather move yourself up on? You have these worker placement actions that kind of help you block off where other people can go and things like that. So Russian railroads, I'm speaking not from much experience of it, but I would love to play it again, but right now it's at the C tier. Tigris and Euphrates, that game I played a lot as a kid. I say C tier. It's all right. Trajan, never played it. Time Stories, I really liked the first Time Stories. After that, they weren't that great, but I'll just grade it as if it was just Time Stories as a whole. B tier. Still really great. I'd say the first one may be an A tier. Lisboa, nope. Haven't played it. Pandemic, base game, yeah, C tier. It's got a cool idea about it, but you get Pandemic Legacy, it starts getting really good. Dominion base game, I put that at C tier. Oh, that's where I put the other Dominion. Okay. X-wing miniatures, put that at D tier. It's got cool things. You're flying around with the X-wings. Crokinole, let's put that at the A tier. Actually, I really enjoy Crokinole. That is such a great game. I got my own Crokinole board. It's really fun to play with. I got a Dead of Winter. I sold it and then rebought it. Why did I sell it? It's so great of a game, but I'll put that as a B or A. Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't go off very, very good, actually. So I'll put that at the B tier, but for the most part, it's pretty exciting. Kemet, D tier. Didn't really super enjoy that, but I understand why people do enjoy it. It's kind of that decision space thing that I like, that random decision space versus all the decisions out there for you to pick from. That is not going to be my favorite style with Kemet. There's too many decisions. Agricola, what is this? Like a different version of Agricola? Alright, we'll put that along with where I put the other one in B tier. Pandemic Iberia, I'd imagine it's very similar to Pandemic, so we'll put it in C tier, but I haven't played it. Aeon's End, never played it. Raiders, never played it. Teotihuacan, thought it was okay, C tier. Forbidden Stars, owned it, never played it, sold it. Funny story with that. Architects of the West Kingdom, really great game. I'm gonna put it right up there with Lords of Waterdeep because it has that Lords of Waterdeep worker placement vibes, but you get to do some pretty cool things with it. Descent, never played it. Stone Age, let's put that up with just a little lower than Seven Wonders. Oh, but do I want to put it in B tier? I guess I will put it in B tier. It's pretty good. Sometimes I like it better than Lords of Waterdeep though, but no, for the most part, Lords of Waterdeep and Seven Wonders are better. Patchwork is better. Mombasa is better. Okay, so it doesn't totally meet up with the A tier as well, but it is one of the better B tiers here. Yokohama. That is either A tier or S tier. Such a great game. Sometimes it is a little long. I'll put it in the A tier. I just love placing out the cubes in Yokohama. Alchemist. I like the puzzle in Alchemist. It's pretty Euro-y though, to its detriment, I think, but I really enjoy Alchemist a lot. Trying to create those potions. Champions of Midgard, put as a B tier along with Stone Age, yeah. Maybe less, maybe C tier actually. It's okay. Star Realms, that's going to be an S tier game. I don't normally like deck builders, but there's something about Star Realms that's just quick, simple, and amazing. Worth the time. Legendary encounters. Haven't played very many of the legendaries. Played Marvel Legendary, liked it. War of the Ring, have not played either. Castle of Burgundy, haven't played. Grand Austria Hotel, I would rate that a 7 out of 10. Would play again, so I think I like it better than all of these ones that are in the C tier though. So it's like the best 7 out of 10, so maybe I don't know. If S is a 10 and A is a 9, B is a 7 or 8, C is a 5 or 6, and D is a 3 or 4. Yeah. It gets harder as you go up. Like maybe 2, 3 or 4, 5 or 6, 7 or 8, all the 9s and all the 10s are in S tier. Istanbul, pretty great game. So that I would put it in B tier. It's one of the lower B tiers. Yeah, we'll still keep it at B tier. The only one I'm not sure about, maybe Blood Rage. Blood Rage is the best of the C tiers, I would say. Istanbul, probably the worst of the B tiers right now. Who would be the best of these B tiers? Well, we'll find. Well, I'll go through them at the end. Game of Thrones, I'm gonna put that as a A tier. That's pretty exciting when you're playing diplomacy style warfare. And Avalon, didn't really like it. So the best of the S tiers is going to be Terraforming Mars. The worst of these S tiers is going to be, there's just so many great games in here. Maybe Concord. No, I'm going to say Star Realms. Keep Star Realms there at the worst of them. Still the best of the S tier. So pretty high up there. The best of the A tier is going to go to let's put Crokinole. Maybe Feast for Odin. The worst of the A tier is going to go to Mombasa, just because I haven't played it. Maybe Seven Wonders. Okay. The best of the B tier is going to be Star Wars Rebellion. And the worst is going to be Istanbul or Power Grid, maybe. Still pretty good. They're in the B tier. I'll put Power Grid. No, Roll. Roll for the Galaxy. No, Power Grid. Yeah, okay. Best of the C tier, Blood Rage. Worst of the C tier would be might be Twilight Struggle. Best of the D tier, I would say maybe El Grande. Worst of them, X-Wing was okay. Worst of them would be Food Chain Magnet. Yeah, that was a tough one to get through. No, worst one would be Avalon. And yeah, there you have it. So that is my top 100 board games ranked. Thanks very much for sticking through that. Yeah, it's quite a lot of games I just went through, but hopefully you all enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Bye.